Dazzler is one of the most visually stunning and yet strangest X-Men characters of all time, and yet despite that, she actually came close to getting her own solo movie way back in the early 80s, before development on an actual X-Men movie had even started. So, what if it happened? Dazzler was first created in 1978 as part of a cross-promotion between Marvel Comics and Casablanca Records. Casablanca wanted to do a promotional tie-in with Marvel that would entail not only the creation of comic books, but also an actual singer with the Dazzler persona, as well as an animated movie. The hope was to capitalize on the disco craze sweeping America at the time. Her name originally would have been the Disco Queen, no, I'm not kidding, and her power would have been able to tell when people are lying, but this idea was thankfully scrapped in favor of the Dazzler that we know, mostly due to disco just kind of dying as a genre, as well as this idea of just being kind of lame. Dazzler would debut in the comics with the Uncanny X-Men number 130 in 1980. Her real name is Allie Blair, and she discovered when she reached adolescence that she's a mutant. She has the power to convert sound into light. Now, Allie kept her powers secret until she started to experiment a bit more with them in college. She would go on to pursue her longtime dream of becoming a singer, and she made herself stand out by using her powers to, well, dazzle the audience with epic light shows. Now, something interesting to note about her character is that she was actually given an opportunity to join the X-Men, after she worked together with them to defeat the Hellfire Club, but she actually declined in favor of focusing on her music career. The plans for a Dazzler movie were originally conceived to be an animated Saturday morning cartoon special, with hopes of it being popular enough to spin off into a full-blown animated series. Marvel's editor-in-chief, Jim Shooter, would begin writing a film treatment, which apparently he was given only 4 days to finish, and was only 11 pages long as a result. However, the idea for an animated movie was later scrapped, in favor of a live-action movie, which would be produced by FilmWorks Entertainment. The idea was to cast Grace Jones as Dazzler originally, as the intention was to have her design be based off of Jones's look. However, the design was later changed to more closely resemble Bo Derek. This is apparently because FilmWorks had a quote-unquote in with Bo. Ultimately, Marvel executives would fly out to Paris, France, during her promotional tour for the movie 10 to try and get her to sign on. Their plan ended up working, and Bo Derek was set to star as Dazzler. The rest of the cast, on the other hand, was kind of all over the place. The hope was to feature a lot more big characters than just Dazzler. They hope to somehow feature both Spider-Man and the Avengers in this movie. They hope to entice other big names into the project as well, including Rodney Dangerfield, who would have played at least 4 different characters. Cher was another name they hoped to get involved with the project as one of the villains, along with Donna Summer as another villain. Robin Williams was also being considered to play the role of Dazzler's love interest. The plot of the movie would have seemingly brushed over Dazzler's origin story, and instead would have skipped ahead to her being a famous singer. We'd see Spider-Man and the Avengers in attendance at one of her concerts. However, Dazzler and all the other heroes would somehow end up being transported to a futuristic New York City, governed by 2 evil queens. Presumably, there would have been a sing-off at the end between Dazzler and the queens. However, there were major issues going on behind the scenes, as Bo Derek insisted on having her husband John Derek direct the movie. John Derek was known to dislike acting in general, and his directed films including Tarzan the Ape Man were all heavily disliked by critics, not to mention the fact that he met Bo Derek by having an affair with her despite him being married, as well as the fact that she was only 16 years old. So needless to say, Marvel likely thought that John Derek was probably more trouble than he was worth. Sadly for them, Bo didn't agree, and combined with concerns over the amount of training she'd have to go through for the fight scenes, she decided to exit the project entirely. Now, Daryl Hannah was then briefly considered to be her replacement, but FilmWorks decided to pull out of the project altogether, leaving the movie ultimately unmade. So what do I think of this Dazzler movie with Bo Derek from the early 80s? No. Just a whole lot of no. I like Dazzler as a character. I do. I think that she has a time and place. I think that she, as a character, could get her own movie, and I think it would be really cool. But the fact that they were going to do a movie about her before the X-Men, like, what were they thinking? Like, that's like making a movie about Doctor Doom before you make a Fantastic Four movie. Like, yeah, it'd be cool, but like, why? Why would anyone do that? Like, it's silly. And to think that this movie would have technically ended up being the first Marvel movie, you know, because this would have come out before Howard the Duck, it would have come out before Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, it would have come out way before all that. So this would have been the first Marvel movie. Like, really, this would be the first Marvel movie? No, that just doesn't sound right at all. And Howard the Duck being the first one already sounded wrong to me. So this doesn't sound that much better. And that's from a guy who likes Dazzler. I think that she's a good character. But, you know, I can't help but feel like this movie would age terribly. Like, not just the visual effects, because, okay, I don't know for sure the visual effects would have been bad. I mean, Superman with Christopher Reeve had just come out, you know, slightly before this, and the effects have held up pretty well on that, actually. But I don't know about this. This sounds like it would have had a much smaller budget, despite all the big names in it. And speaking of the big names, too many big names, in my opinion. Too many singers is what I mean. I like the idea of hiring a singer to you know, be Dazzler. That makes sense. But why would they hire singers to be the villains? Like, that just seems excessive and weird. You know what I mean? It just seems too weird. And I haven't even gotten started on my opinion on Spider-Man and the Avengers being in this movie. Like, wow, why would those characters be in a movie this small scale? Like, that just seems excessive. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like way too much for a Dazzler movie. And then that's not even incorporating the futuristic New York time travel stuff. Like, really? Like, I can't get over how much they planned for this movie, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, I know it was a different time, a time period I didn't live in, but like, I think even back then people would have found this to be a questionable decision of a movie, and I don't think people would have liked it that much. I don't think this movie would have been that good, honestly, and I think that we're all better off that this probably wasn't made, or wasn't made. Damn, I'm slurring my words, but you get what I mean. I just think we're better off without it, is what I'm trying to say. Nowadays, a Dazzler movie would probably be pretty interesting. You know, I think that would be a really cool idea now, but to do a movie like that before the X-Men, I can't get over that at all. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of a Dazzler movie being made in the early 80s before an X-Men movie. Let me know what you think of Bo Derek being cast as Dazzler, and also let me know other what-if recommendations you have, whether that's about Marvel, DC, or any other thing that you can think of. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and share with all of your friends and all your various social media platforms. And speaking of social media, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Rinzler_Productions. I'll see all you guys in the next video.